So, interesting topic, and it starts with a leaf or a flower. Life becomes death, inevitably.
Like my style? Hit the subscribe
Through the
button so you
process
don't
of
miss any
decay.
future videos.
And something I've been thinking about way out there is this idea that you can't reverse that process. You know, once you begin to slip and you begin to fade, and there's no longer the necessary nutrients and vitamins and essential minerals and everything that supports life, you begin to deteriorate. And while that's not something most individuals and organisms are keen on doing, it is inherent to the process of being alive. So I've been thinking about it because this week, a lot of my hanging plants, I have a big hanging plant. A lot of it actually died this week, even though I was watering it and I thought I was tending to it well, and I was working a lot, so I wasn't really home. And so I'm trying to analyze, what happened? Why did it kind of suffer so much? Because only one kind of ended up that way, the other seems to be doing okay. So I was a little bit perplexed. I was thinking, okay, what changed? Maybe it was the position of the plant in the room, not enough light. Maybe it was watering it too much. Maybe there was some sort of internal infection or something else that was causing it to kind of wither and rot. Maybe it was just natural age, shedding its leaves. I'm not, aware enough to understand what it could be at this stage, so I'm trying to analyze it and trying to understand. And yeah, it's a process. I feel like what I'm realizing, especially with plants, is that it's easy to fuck up, and sometimes once you fuck up, you can't come back from it. Like this guy over here. This guy's probably damaged beyond belief. Or not damaged beyond belief, but damaged beyond repair. And yeah, that's kind of the law of equivalent exchange in a way. Because, you expect a plant to produce something, and it always produces because it's a producer. You expect it to produce something, but you don't give it anything, or you don't give it what it needs, rather, to produce what it was born to produce. Some plants produce fruit, some plants produce spores, some plants produce other matter like pine cones and different items that fall on the ground. But everything has some sort of purpose, and if you don't, sustain and nourish that organism, it's going to die because it doesn't have enough going in compared to what's going out. So because of that, it's going to suck up its own life force to sustain itself as long as possible until it eventually runs out of time. So you can apply that metaphor, if you will, to your life. If you're going at 100%, but you're not putting anything in, you are gonna eventually go backwards. You're gonna diminish, you're gonna deteriorate, as I mentioned, and it's not this endless, chase where you can just keep going and going and going and never stop, you're gonna burn out, you know. Like a plant, you gotta be watered, you gotta be cared for, you know, you gotta put good things into you. And not just good things, because there's a lot of good things out there, but you have to put the right things into you. And, you know, for some people that looks like, you know, socialization. For other people that looks like high levels of physical activity. You know, for other people that looks like deep spiritual connection. But it's different for everybody, you know, and whatever that looks like in your life, you need to find a way to have constant access to it. Because without constant input, you can't expect constant output. You know? We don't have two stomachs. We're not camels. You know, we're not beings that can just like store all of this stuff and just, you know, survive on, you know, kind of the bare bones amount for too long. You know, we are built in a rugged way, of course, as all organisms are. We're built to, you know, last as long as we can, but we're not built to go forever without proper tending and nourishment and care. So keep that in mind, you know, and wherever it is that you're trying to go, just remember that some of you is always going to be sacrificed in order for you to make it to where you want to go. You're going to have to give up something, but new leaves also can form and new fruit will come, because everything's seasonal, you know. When it's time to shed some leaves, you know, it's because you don't need them anymore. Or those leaves perhaps are not aiding you in, you know, being as full and green as you could be. And then when spring rolls around, you know, you're going to start producing again, or when your time is in season. But you can't forget to continue to, you know, take in those necessary components to, you know, your recipe, or whatever that is. So, you know, coming at you with multiple layers in this video, hopefully you can see that. I mean, it's kind of a deep metaphor. You know, it's biological, it's physical / physiological, it's social, it's emotional, it's even spiritual. I mean, plants are kind of, you know, analogous to us in many ways, and they kind of have the reverse process that we do in terms of our cellular respiration, where they're engaged in more of a photosynthesis and kind of helping us while we're helping them. You know, they take in the carbon dioxide, we put it out, or we kind of breathe it back out, and they give us oxygen. So there is kind of a symbiosis there, and you know, that's what it takes, I think, to continue to grow, is to recognize those processes that do age you, as I mentioned, and find ways to, you know, continue to be around them and continue to invest in them, because they will invest in you. So if anything, I'm gonna try to step back and reevaluate my approach, and yeah, see if I can keep these plants alive for as long as possible. Same thing for myself. So that being said, hope you have a good day wherever you are, and peace.